All right, so now the moment you have all been waiting for, my eyeshadow palettes. So we are jumping right on in to these palettes. So let's just start right here. I do have the Urban Decay Naked Wild West palette. This one, let me try to zoom y'all out. So I do have the Urban Decay Naked Wild West palette. This one I did pick up this year. It is very, very beautiful. It's kind of more of a like warmer toned kind of palette. Really, really enjoy this color story a lot. Then getting into my ABH palettes, I do have my Jackie Aina palette from ABH. Such a beautiful, beautiful eyeshadow palette. Really, really enjoy this one. I actually need to pull that one out more because I haven't used it yet this year. And then I have my ABH Sultry palette. And this is such a beautiful palette. It's one of the best ABH palettes ever, in my opinion. I just think it's such a stunning, stunning color story, and the shimmer shades in the Sultry palette cannot be beat. And then I have the original Norvina palette, one of my favorite palettes in my entire collection. I love these shades. I love that you get purples. I love that you get neutrals. So you can do so many different looks with this one. And purple is definitely my favorite way to play with color on my eyes. And these are in no particular order. These are all going to be high end, but as far as like brands and stuff, I just kind of had them thrown in my drawer. So I do have the Natasha Denona bronze palette. This obviously came out last year. Really enjoy this one. It's very beautiful. It's not my favorite Natasha Denona palette, but if you are wanting a solid, like warm toned palette, this is it. This is a stunning formula from her, and the shimmer shades in here are absolutely beautiful. All right, and then I have the newest palette from Too Faced, the Too Faced Cinnamon Swirl palette. And the packaging, of course, is so cute. And then here is what the palette looks like. It is really adorable. Really, really enjoy this one, but it's not my favorite one out of the holiday palettes. And then, of course, I have my beloved Biba palette from Natasha Denona. If you have been around my channel for some time, you probably know how much I enjoy this palette. It's definitely my favorite Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette. Really, really enjoy this one. And I'm sure you could see how much I actually use that palette. Then this is a face and eye palette. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Instant Look of Love in a palette in the shade Pretty Blushed Beauty. So again, this has some eyeshadows and also some face colors. So here is what this one looks like. I love this palette. I think it is really, really nice. I love the eyeshadows that she included, and I love that we get to sample her powder, her bronzer, blush, highlight, all of that. Really, really enjoy this, and I'm really glad that I got it for sure. Another one of my favorite finds and favorite palettes, favorite discoveries, if you will, from 2021 is the Give Me Glow Cosmetics Pastel Dreams palette. I actually have an entire dedicated 5 looks 1 palette with this eyeshadow palette. So I will have that linked down below, but here is this beauty right here. This is like pastel heaven. So if you are into pastels, if you're wanting to dip your toes into pastels, but you want some great quality ones that don't get patchy, that don't get chalky on the lids, this is the one. This is amazing. And the metallics are no joke either. So I thoroughly enjoy this palette, and I'm really excited to hopefully purchase more from the brand. Another favorite of mine is from ABH Norvina. This is their Volume 5 palette, and this is in the shade Lilac, I believe. Such a stunning, stunning palette. It is so beautiful. This right here, if you are a purple lover, you need this. This has everything you could possibly want and possibly need in a purple palette. You have this really beautiful pinky glitter right here, and I love that it's also kind of berry toned and neutral, but then really, really bright purples. So this is just such a good formula, and yeah, I just suggest this one. I really do. I think it's absolutely amazing. And then I have the, of course, Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals palette. And this one I actually bought off of Poshmark, and the mirror is like broken, so that's so sad. But this is so beautiful, you guys. This is beautiful. For Halloween, I actually wore this like black glitter all over the lid, and it was stunning. So I enjoy this one. I actually would love to wear this on my graduation, which is coming up in December, which when you're watching this, it's December. I'm just like pre-filming in November, so it's kind of confusing for me, but I'm hoping to wear this for my graduation. We shall see. I just think this palette is so stunning, and of course now with Tati Beauty not existing anymore, I think I'm really happy to own that palette. And then I have another Natasha Denona palette. This is the Metropolis palette, and this is another one that I purchased off of Poshmark, and I'm really glad that I did because I was able to get it for a pretty good price. And this one is good. Again, not my favorite from Natasha, but I do enjoy the formulas in here. She has a lot of those different textures, which I enjoy, but the shades can look very similar to one another, and the looks you can create can also look a little bit redundant. Another Natasha Denona palette is the Glam palette. Really enjoy this one, and this is still a bestseller. Like, so many people still love and rave about this palette, and for good reason. It's stunning. It's absolutely beautiful, and this is the perfect cool tones eyeshadow palette in a solid killer formula. I love this palette, and I actually like even gifted one to my sister. Like, I love it that much. A Natasha Denona palette that I picked up this year because I couldn't resist, I have a problem, is the Natasha Denona Love palette. And this one I actually paid for full price, which is so freaking frustrating because it ended up going on sale for like half off months later, but that's okay. I really enjoy the Natasha Denona formula, as you can tell, and I wanted to have this like purpley kind of red toned palette in my collection. So really enjoy this one as well. I need to use that one more. And then I have this little one from Ofra. This is one of their signature palettes in the color story called Empowered. And this one is very unique, which is why I've kept it around. I definitely like have thought about decluttering it, but again, the color story is so unique that I want to keep it. So I have that one. Also, I have the Naughty palette, the Naughty Nude palette from Huda Beauty, and this was one that I picked up this year also. I picked up so many palettes this year, it's crazy. And this one is really beautiful. I think this is the best Huda Beauty palette in my opinion, because you get so many different colors, so many different textures, and I mean, the formula is outstanding. So I really enjoy this one, and I think you get a lot of great depth, a lot of great metallics and everything. I mean, it's just really good. And then a stunning palette that I need to use more for sure is the Nabla Side by Side Nude palette. This is so beautiful. I've heard people say and kind of call this like a more elevated Biba palette, if you will, because it's very similar to the Natasha Denona Biba palette, but it's a little bit more elevated. It has some more shimmers. It's a little bit more glam, but this one is so stunning, and the shade Better Society is so beautiful. So really enjoy this one. I just need to use it more, which is a problem that I have with all of my palettes. And then I have the Lorac Pro palette Noir. So this is a newer-ish palette to Lorac. And this is kind of the more neutral leaning, the more cool tones leaning one. They also came out with Soleil, which is a little bit more warm toned. I love the Lorac eyeshadow formula, so I definitely wanted to pick this one up. And then I have a palette from Melt. This is the Melt Brunette palette, or Brunet palette, I'm not sure. And here's what this one looks like. This is really beautiful. I will say that Melt doesn't have my favorite eyeshadow formula, but this is the only one that I've tried. So I would, be inclined to maybe purchasing another one just to kind of test out the formula for sure and see if it's consistent with this one. But this formula is good, but like for instance, the shade Stout gets a little bit harder in the pan, so it's sometimes a little bit more difficult to use. And then we have, of course, one of my favorites, the Too Faced Gingerbread Extra Spicy Palette. I think this one is by far my favorite one that they have come out with for the holidays. I love this. I love this one so much. And I love like the warm and toastiness of that one. And I always talk about it and always recommend it. Again, from Too Faced, I have the Pumpkin Spice palette. This is the one that came out last year. And this is really good. This is very versatile. And something that I love about this one is that you can use it during different times of the year, different seasons, because it has a little bit more color to it than just those like pumpkin-y brown shades. And then I have the Too Faced Gingerbread Spice. This was the palette that started it all. And this one is beautiful as well. It's a little bit older because it did come out in 2018. So that's already like what, 3 years? So it is getting older. But it's still, I mean, it's still beautiful. It still performs okay, but yes, that one is a little bit older in my collection. And then I have the original Naked palette, and this one my sister actually gave to me because I was at her house and I was kind of looking through her makeup and she had it and she's like, you can have it if you want, it's pretty old. I'm like, I know, but I want it just for nostalgia because I used this palette like literally to the nub. Like I had pan in literally almost every shade and I just wanted to have it in my collection. I think it's so beautiful. My favorite shade used to be Smog and Half Baked. I loved those shades, so I just kind of wanted to have that palette within my collection. And then I have the MAC and Selena palette. This is the Me Siento Muy Excited and palette, that's the name of it. Super cute packaging. I love like the detail that they went in with it, and then it has this beautiful overlay of La Reina. And then beautiful color story as well. This is more for like collectibles purposes. Like I don't use this palette that much. I just kind of wanted it to have the palette and of course to have this beautiful overlay. I love her. I love her. I love her. I love her. She will always live on in my opinion. And then from Too Faced, a classic, this is the Born This Way, the Natural Nudes palette. This is a beautiful, beautiful option if you're looking for a more everyday palette. This is beautiful for work, for every day, for creating pretty neutral looks overall. It's not too warm toned, it's not too cool toned. It stays pretty neutral leaning, and it's great. It's a great everyday formula, everyday palette. These shimmer shades can get a little bit like dusty, a little bit flaky, but they are very impactful on the lids. All right, so continuing on with some palettes, I do have the Lorac Pro Palette 2. I picked this up last year, I think it was, at TJ Maxx for only $10. Such a steal. This is such a stunning eyeshadow palette, so I'm really glad to have that back into my collection. I absolutely love the Lorac eyeshadow formula. And this year I purchased the Tarte Tartelette Juicy palette. This is the first one that they came out with, the one that's a little bit bigger, and they do have a more like condensed down version of this one. This is really nice. Tarte's eyeshadow formula isn't my favorite, but I really enjoy the color story of that one. And then I have the Ofra and no, this is actually a different one. This is the Sweet Dreams signature palette from Ofra, and embarrassingly enough, I have actually not used this one yet, so I'm definitely embarrassing myself on that one. But here is what this one looks like. And then I have the Sigma Enchanted palette. Such beautiful packaging. Really love this color story, but for some reason I don't reach for this palette very much. I really need to get going and use this one because the shimmer shades are absolutely stunning in that palette. And then I have the from Huda Beauty, it's the Chocolate Brown palette. This came out earlier this year, and here's what this one looks like. I absolutely love the color story. It's kind of more chocolatey, rich browns. Really enjoy that, and I love the packaging. Here is the Ofra and Leora palette. This was something that released last year. Really enjoy the formula on this one, and the color story is really fun and unique as well. So I'm definitely glad to have that in my collection. And then I have the Lunar Beauty Eternal Eclipse palette. I did actually do a get ready with me using this palette. And this is just a stunning palette overall. The shimmer shades are so beautiful and the mattes perform pretty well, but I've only used it that one time. I'm so embarrassed to say that, but yeah, I guess it just kind of came at a time that I had some other palettes that I was wanting to play around with, so I didn't give it the time of day as I probably should have. And then I have this palette from Sugarpill. This is the Fun Size Mini Color Palette. Love the packaging. And then as you can see here, this is more of a kind of like pastel matte palette. Super cute. Love that one. And I love kind of having that as a companion palette. And then I have the Huda Beauty Mercury Retrograde palette. This is another stunning palette from her line. This is absolutely beautiful. The shades in here are stunning. I love the shimmers especially, and the packaging is really beautiful as well. And then I have the Sydney Grace Enduring Love palette, another good one. Again, something that I need to use more of. The Sydney Grace eyeshadow formula is very nice, and I was thoroughly impressed when I first tried out the formula. Another one from Huda is the Nude Light Obsessions. And here is what this one looks like. Again, just a very nice curated 9-pan eyeshadow palette. Love the color story, and yeah, this one performs pretty well. And then this is pretty new to my collection. This is the Tartelette and Bloom palette, an oldie that I had never had previously in my collection. And this one is just a really nice kind of everyday neutral palette. It leans a little bit more cool tones, but I do enjoy the color story a lot. Again, Tarte's eyeshadow formula is not my favorite, but I do like that palette. And then I have the the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette, of course. And this one is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful for brown eyes. Of course, you can wear anything, no matter your eye color, no matter your hair color, skin tone, all of that. But this is just, it really does make brown eyes pop, in my opinion. And this is a good one for sure. Another one from Urban Decay that I picked up earlier this year when it went on sale is the Urban Decay Stone Vibes palette. And this one I need to use more. I'm so bummed about it because it's so beautiful. The shimmer shades are absolutely stunning, and it's just such a unique formula from Urban Decay, but I just don't use it enough. And of course, I love the packaging. Then I have the Ofra and Samantha March Face and Eye Palette. I want to say this is called this is the Life's a Draft palette. And like I said, it does have eyeshadows as well as face products. So it has these eyeshadows, a bronzer, a blush, and a highlighter. I thoroughly enjoy these face products from the line, and the eyeshadows are pretty nice as well, but I do think this palette stands for the face shades. Those are like my favorites. And then I have the Glam Light Ice Cream palette. This palette is so freaking adorable. I love it. I love the packaging. I love the ice cream, the detail that they put into it. And then here is what this palette looks like. It's very colorful, and I haven't really used it yet. So I need to get on that. I need to use it. I'm really excited about these shimmer shades. And this was a palette that I had been wanting for a very long time, and I finally got around to getting it this year. Then I have the Artist Couture Supreme Nudes palette. This is a really nice palette for fall, and it's a really nice warm toned color story. Has some warm tone neutrals, and the formula is pretty good as well. Then I have a lot of singles from Mary Kay. I have kind of, you know, just like, I don't know, I lean back and forth on decluttering this or not, but the eyeshadows from Mary Kay are pretty good. I mean, they really are, but I just don't get a lot of use out of these because obviously I have so many eyeshadow palettes. There's so many that I want to gravitate towards, you know, over that one. So there are all of my high-end palettes. So next we're going to get into the more like drugstore and affordable ones. All right, so like I said, these are going to be my more affordable drugstore palettes. So no particular order. Let's just go ahead and get started. So I do have my ColourPop Blue Moon 9-pan eyeshadow palette. This is such a beautiful blue monochromatic eyeshadow palette. Performs really well. I love the versatility that you get in this one. So really enjoyed that one. Then of course I do have my ColourPop Going Coconuts palette, another beautiful cool toned neutral palette. I love the shade Cocoa Crush. It is so stunning on the eyes. Really love that one. And then I have the ColourPop It's My Pleasure 9-pan palette. This one, I just can't seem to declutter this one, even though I have the ABH one. I love this color story so much. I love that center shade Earth Shine, and it's just such a well-performing palette that I cannot seem to declutter it. And since we're talking about the ColourPop 9 pans, I do have the Meant to Be as well. And again, this is a really nice monochromatic 9-pan from them as well. I do like the versatility of this one. Even though it's a mint color story, I think that they did a really nice job on this one. And then I do have the Wet n Wild and SpongeBob collaboration palette. This is the Nautical Nonsense eyeshadow palette. And this performs okay. It's definitely not the best, but it's really just for collectors purposes. I love SpongeBob so much. Then I have this one from Essence. This is the Out in the Wild eyeshadow palette. It's the Don't Stop Believing eyeshadow palette. Such a stunning color story, and it performs so well. I know that Essence eyeshadows in the past have been a little bit hit or miss, but this one is solid for sure. Then I have the Morphe Maddie Ziegler Imagination palette. This is such an inspiring palette to me. I love all of the different looks that you can create with this palette. I love the pops of color. The shade Dog Mom is God Mom is so beautiful on the eyes, and I've just been thoroughly impressed with this palette. So really happy to have that one. I got it for like 40% off or something. It was such a good deal. And then I have an oldie but a goodie. This is the ColourPop She palette, and I just cannot part with this one. I cannot declutter it. I love the color story so much. I always pull it out around Valentine's Day. And then I have the ColourPop Stone Cold Fox palette. This is one of the mega palettes from them, and I just love cool tones, so of course I had to have this one in my collection. I really enjoy this one as well. I think it's a really great cool toned option that's a little bit more affordable, so really enjoy this one from ColourPop. Then I have the BH Cosmetics Passion in Paris palette. I absolutely love the packaging of this one, and the color story is really pretty as well. I love the colors. I love that it's kind of like blue and purple and just very like evening-esque, this palette, and I really like it. I think it's great. Then I have this one from LA Girl, and this is one of the 9 pans from them, and I want to say this is in the color Downplay, and I've only used this like once or twice, and I'm not like super in love with the formula. I feel like these shimmer shades can get a little bit chunky, a little bit flaky, but I do think that they have some really great pigments to them, so I definitely want to continue using that one. And then I have the e.l.f. Retro Paradise palette. This is definitely discontinued. It came out last summer, and this is a stunning color story. I love it. My favorite shade is Para Isol. I love that shade so much. I think it's so beautiful, and overall I thought this palette was really nice. Then we have the Alter Ego Goddess palette. This is supposed to be a dupe for the Natasha Denona Gold palette. It's really beautiful. It performs very well. I think Alter Ego has a wonderful eyeshadow palette formula, so really enjoyed that one, and the color story is stunning. Then from BH Cosmetics as well, I have the Royal Affair palette, and this is older. I can probably probably see myself decluttering this one pretty soon, but the color story is what keeps me from not wanting to declutter it, because it's stunning. It is a beautiful, beautiful color story. It's very versatile. You can do so many things with that one. Again, from BH Cosmetics, I have the Lost in Los Angeles palette. This palette is so, so stunning. I actually wasn't going to pick this one up, but then we went to Ulta with my aunt, and my aunt bought it, and we got home, I swatched it, and I immediately fell in love, so I went back and purchased this one. And the color story is kind of tricky. It's kind of hard to get just one look with the palette, but the shimmer shades are stunning in this one. Then I have this one from LA Girl. This is the Hey Hey Vacay, what is it called? Good Times and Tan Lines palette. And I got this one because I always hear really, really great things about the LA Girl eyeshadow formula. And this one was kind of giving me like Natasha Denona Zendo vibes. So I wanted to go ahead and pick it up and try out more of the LA Girl eyeshadow formula. And I've only used it once, unfortunately. Then I actually purchased a palette from Beauty Bay. And Beauty Bay is definitely I want to say it's like a UK brand or something, so it did take a while for it to get to me, but this is the Beauty Bay Age of Opulence palette. I'm not too crazy about the packaging, but I am obsessed with the color story. This color story is stunning. It is so beautiful. The moment I saw it, I knew that I wanted it, and I am so impressed with this palette. I really want to create like a purple blue look. I think that would be stunning, so I am really, really looking forward to playing around with that one some more. And then I have the Morphe Madison Beer palette. And again, I was never interested in this palette, but I picked it up for like 40% off, and I thought the color story was really beautiful. There had been a couple of times that I was in Ulta that I swatched this palette, some of the shimmers, and was thoroughly impressed. So I decided to go ahead and pick it up for that great discount, and it's pretty good. I like the Maddie Ziegler one more, but that one is nice. And then again from Morphe, I have the Jaclyn Hill Divine Neutrals palette. This is one of the newer palettes, and I haven't used this one yet. I really, really need to. I feel so bad that I haven't used it, but it just looks like such a stunning neutral palette. I'm really, really stoked to try this one out. Then one of my most, well, again, I'm pre-filming this, but I do have a get ready with me using this palette. This is the BH Cosmetics Miss Claus, the Lit List palette. This palette is huge, and you get so many different shades in here. I really, really enjoy this one. I think that it's great, great quality, and I think it's a stunning, stunning holiday palette, holiday release, etc. Really, really happy with this one. Then I have the ColourPop That's Taupe palette, a stunning palette. I will say I used it recently and I wasn't in love with my eyeshadow look, so I don't know if maybe it was just the look that I created with it, but yeah, I feel like I like the Stone Cold Fox one better, but this is still a nice option. And then again from ColourPop, I have another mega palette from them. This is the It's a Mood palette, and I wasn't going to purchase this one, but the color story of this palette is absolutely stunning. I love all of the jewel tones. I think it's perfect for fall, and something about the layout of this palette, it just really, really gets me, and I think it's beautiful. So I do have this one. I do have this one, and I did pick this one up. I think it was like a couple of months ago when it first released. Then I did also pick up the Hocus Pocus palette from ColourPop, the Gather Round Sisters. This one is purely just because I wanted the packaging. I know last year I talked about how the BH Cosmetics Royal Affair palette is basically like the same kind of color story, but I really just wanted the, I don't know, I wanted like the entire like vision of this palette. I wanted the Hocus Pocus sisters. I wanted the packaging, and of course the shade names are really, really cute as well, and I just wanted the full experience. So I went ahead and picked it up at Ulta, and if it wasn't at Ulta in person, I probably wouldn't have gotten it, but since it was, I went ahead and purchased it. And then this is from Wet n Wild. This is the Be Mine Honey palette. These came out around like the summertime, and they were part of like a little collection that Wet n Wild did, and these performed so well. This is a great, great palette. From that line as well, I also picked up this one. It's the In Love with Cocoa palette. This one is so stunning. I did do a look with this one on my channel. I did that whenever these released, and these were found in Target, but now I don't think any of these are available anymore. But it's a shame because those were great formulas. And then I have the BH Cosmetics Chillin' in Chicago palette. This was actually a palette I picked up from Ross randomly one day, and the formula is amazing. I mean, I love BH Cosmetics, but I'm not like obsessed with a color story, if I'm being honest with you. I don't know, I guess I just feel like there's better out there, especially when it comes to neutrals. This is a palette that I love. This is the Juvia's Place, the Blushed Rose eyeshadow palette. It's just a beautiful 6-pan palette. I absolutely love this shimmer shade so much. And of course, I love pairing this with the blush duo that came out with that as well. And then lastly, I do have my ColourPop Wild Nothing palette. And this one is definitely for lighter complexions. So it's not gonna give you very much depth within this one, but I love the shimmer shades in this palette. I love how, you know, you can kind of just create a very like easy look, but it'll still look really flattering and beautiful on the eyes. And of course, I love the packaging. So those are all of my eyeshadow palettes. I have more in my like, what is it? Like in my little cabinet, it's like acrylic case thing back there. So I will go ahead and get that ready for you guys. Okay, so before we get into that makeup that's in that like acrylic storage, I do have face palettes. I completely forgot. I have face palettes. Let me share those with you. So this, I'm pretty sure, is no longer available, but this is the Natasha Denona Sculpt and Glow palette. So it does come with cream products as well as powder products. Mine looks disgusting, but I still, like, I swear it still performs really well. I use it quite a bit. I love this. I love this so much, and I think it's such a shame that she discontinued those because they're pretty pricey, but they're worth it. I think they're really good. And then I have this Hourglass Face Quad from last year. It's the Ambient Lighting Edit Mini Sculpture Unlocked. They came out with this last year, so I went ahead and picked this one up, and I like it. I don't think Hourglass is worth the money, if I'm gonna be honest. So I have that one, but it's not like a favorite of mine. And then I have this NARS Board de Plage or Plague, I don't know, highlighting and bronzing palette. I feel so awful for butchering that, but this is what the outer packaging looks like, and then here's what it looks like. It has beautiful highlight shades as well as some bronzer shades in here. For some reason, I cannot part with this one, and I think it's because I love the highlighters so much. And then I have from Jaclyn Cosmetics the Rouge Romance blush palette in the shade Rare Affair. And I like these blushes. They're super pigmented, but I love that. Like, I love blush, you guys know that. So I don't mind having a pigmented blush. So I love all of the many options that come in this blush palette. Another blush palette from years ago is the Tarte Blush Bliss blush palette. That is so hard to say. And here is what this one looks like. I really enjoy the Tarte blushes, so that's kind of why I keep this one around, even though it's definitely a lot older. I like having those blushes around. And then I have the Tarteist Pro Glow and Blush face palette. So here's what this one looks like. This one is pretty nice. I will say I really enjoy the blushes in here, and the bronzer performs really well as well. So I do like that one. And then I have from Becca, this is actually something I wanted to give away, so I will never ever get rid of this. This is the Becca Pop Goes the Glow Champagne Pop Face and Eye Palette. And here's what this one looks like. So I just use this mainly as a face palette. I kind of use the highlighters, this one as like a blush, but I just will always have it because I want it in a giveaway, and I've never won anything in a giveaway ever, so that was really exciting. And then I have the Physicians Formula and Whaley Hang like Butter Collection face palette. This is stunning. This is such a beautiful face palette. I absolutely love just the blushes in here, the highlighters, the bronzers, like everything is so nice. And of course, the smell is amazing of this palette. So funny story with that one, I actually like ended up giving this to my sister because I owned it and she kind of liked it. Well, I missed it and I wanted it again, so I ended up repurchasing it. Then I have the Smashbox Cali Contour palette. I love this, you guys. I freaking love this. I think it is so nice. This is perfect for traveling. Like, I didn't even have to bring like an under eye powder, and I didn't have to bring a bronzer, a blush, or a highlight because it's literally all in here. I just love it, and I love the tone of the blush in here as well. Then one of my favorite blush palettes or face palettes of life is this BH Cosmetics Blushing in Bali palette. So this has blushes and highlighters, and I just love this so much. I think it performs so well. I love the blushes, I love the highlighters. They also last pretty well on the skin throughout the day as well. So really, really enjoy that face palette, as well as this one, which is the Glowing in Grease. Same kind of thing. Comes with 3 blushes, 3 highlighters. I still love the Blushing in Bali one more, but this is nice, especially if you love that pop of peach on the cheeks. So those are all of my face palettes. All right, so now I want to share with you all what's in my like acrylic organizer. This is usually just what stays on my desk. And these are products that I don't gravitate towards that much, but I still want to share them with you all. So in this first drawer, I have things that are just kind of like workhorse products for me. So I have like eyeshadow primers in here. I have my MAC Painterly paint pot. So let me go ahead and take this out of the way. I have my MAC Painterly paint pot. Really, really love this stuff. This is such a great eyeshadow primer. It's honestly probably my favorite eyeshadow primer ever. Then I have my Lorac eyeshadow primer, the Behind the Scenes eye primer. I got that when I purchased the Lorac Pro 2 palette. Another eye primer that I have is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in Eden. So this gives you a little bit of coverage, but this is another really, really great top-notch eye primer. Then I have the Milani Eyeshadow Primer, and of course, this is kind of like a classic. So yeah, I have that one. And then I have a ton of mascaras, but firstly, I do have this Milani what is it, like Stay Put brow color in the shade Brunette. So that's kind of like a brow pomade. And then I have this Milk Makeup Kush Clear Brow Gel as well. So I do have that. And then I have a ton of mascaras, and these are all unopened, by the way. So I do have the Thrive Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extensions Mascara. This one I have not tried yet, so I'm excited to try that one out. And then I have from Item Beauty, this is the Lash Snack Mascara. I got this one in an Ipsy bag a while ago, so I haven't tried that one out. And then I have this one from Ilia. This is the Fullest Volumizing Mascara. I'm really excited to try this one because because I loved the like Limitless Lash Mascara or whatever from them so much. So I'm excited to try that one out. And then I have a classic, the Tarte Maneater Mascara, but I have never actually tried this. So I'm really looking forward to trying this one out, and I'm glad that I just got like a little mini. Then I have the Benefit Bad Gal Bang Mascara. I've never tried this one either. So again, I'm just looking forward to testing that one out. Then I have the Fenty Beauty Mascara. This one I believe came in a set, or else I probably wouldn't have purchased this one. And to be exact, this is the Full Frontal Mascara. Then I have a mini of the ABH or Anastasia Beverly Hills Lash Brag Mascara. Again, I believe this came in a set, which is why I have it. So we'll see how I like that one. And then finally, I have a full size of the Too Faced Better Than Sex Mascara. Really, really enjoy that one. I need to use that one because that one is older. But again, like I said, they are all unopened. So I will get to them eventually. Then in this drawer, I just have a lot of minis. So let me go through those. So I do have a mini of the NARS Laguna Mascara. And this one I got in a set recently. So I've actually never tried NARS Laguna, so I'm excited about that one. Then I have a mini of the Benefit Hoola Bronzer. This is such a classic, so I'm really glad to have this mini because I absolutely hate the box packaging from Benefit, so it's kind of nice that I don't have to like worry about my brush, dipping my brush in there. And then I have a mini Becca highlighter, and this is in the shade Opal. So I don't know if they kept all of the highlighters from Becca with Smashbox or if it's just Champagne Pop, but this is Opal. And then I have Moonstone. And both of these, I want to say, well, this one for sure I picked up from TJ Maxx. I don't know where I got Opal from. And then I have a mini of the Too Faced Chocolate Gold Soleil bronzer. And this is pretty nice. I would like to have like the full size or just any full size Too Faced bronzer because I've heard great things. So I have a mini of that one. That one I got at TJ. And then I have this mini Laura Geller Baked Gelato Swirl Illuminator in Charming Pink. I'm actually surprised I still have this. I didn't realize I still had this one, but this is a beautiful pinky toned highlighter. Then I have a Fenty Beauty Killawatt Freestyle highlighter in the shade Hustla Baby. This one was actually on my chopping block, but one of you guys was kind enough to tell me that you thought it looked really nice on me, so I decided to go ahead and keep it because that meant so much to me. That was so sweet that one of you guys was like, oh, I thought it looked really pretty on you, so I was like, okay, I'll keep it then. And then this must be, or has to be, like the cutest freaking thing on earth. It is a mini of the Marc Jacobs Omega Tan bronzer. Like, it's literally a baby, but it looks like exactly like the full size. And this is in the shade Tantastic. I do own the full size of this, but I absolutely love having this mini for traveling because I love this bronzer so much, like in the full size, that I wouldn't want to travel with it and then it get ruined. So I thought that I had to have that when I saw it at TJ Maxx in a set. So that's what I did. I bought it. But those are all of like my minis. I really have like tried to really decrease the amount of minis because I tend to neglect them and forget about them, and then I don't travel that much, so it doesn't make sense to have like so many. And then in here I have a lot of like mini palettes, so let me go through these. So whenever I purchased one of the ColourPop mystery boxes, I did get this. This is the ColourPop and Animal Crossing collab. This is the La Belle of the Ball. And I honestly am so glad that I got this one because I love purple, and this one was always like the prettiest one in my opinion. And the packaging is just so cute. So I did get that one. Then I have two of the mini Essence palettes, the 6-pan palettes. I have this one, which is the Bronzed This Way palette. This is stunning, and the formula is really, really nice in these palettes. And then I have the Essence Coral Me Maybe palette. This one is also super nice. Really, really enjoy this formula and these color stories. I think Essence did a really great job on these. Then I have this palette from Bare Minerals. I don't know if these palettes are still being sold from them, but this is the Gen Nude Rose palette. And this one I got from Marshalls or TJ Maxx. So it's more of like a cool toned neutral palette. Then one of my favorite palettes in my collection is the Wet n Wild's Color Icon palette in the shade Nude Awakening. Really, really enjoy this one. Such a beautiful, like everyday neutral palette, but I love that you get like these pops of colors with this like more berry toned color and this purple. Really, really enjoy this one. And then similarly, I have the Wet n Wild's Color Icon palette in the shade Lights Off, which is a little bit more cool toned. So really enjoy this one too. Then I have a few Dose of Colors palettes. So I have the Dose of Colors Blushing Berries 5-pan palette. I know that the packaging has since been updated, but I just have them in the older packaging. So I do have that one. And then I have the Dose of Colors Pretty Cool palette. Really enjoy this one too. It kind of looks boring and blah in the palette, but I do enjoy cool tones. And then I have the Dose of Colors Baked Browns palette. Again, it kind of looks boring, but it's so beautiful. I love these like staple browns. Love them. All right, and then I have a couple of these ColourPop quads. So this one is an all matte quad, and it's in the shade Dare to Bear, and I absolutely love these cool tones and that the fact that they're all matte. So actually really impressed with that one. This one I wasn't as impressed with. This is one of the ColourPop quads in Cream Soda, but I do need to use it again. I've only used it like once, so I need to use it again. This shade just looks absolutely stunning, so I just need to get around to using these again. Then I have these palettes in here. Continuing on with drugstore, I do have 2 of these Catrice 5 in a Box mini eyeshadow palettes. This is the Golden Nude Look one, and this looks very similar to Natasha Denona minis. The formula is obviously not a dupe, but these are still some really, really nice, beautifully curated color story palettes. And then I have another one of these Catrice 5 in a Box palettes, and this one is in the shade Soft Rose Look. And this one I probably enjoy more. It's so, so beautiful. This shade is stunning on the lids. And then I have just one e.l.f. bite-sized quad in the shade Rosewater. This is such a stunning little palette. I absolutely love this shimmer shade right here. And then some of my favorite eyeshadow quads from the drugstore are these Revlon Prismatic eyeshadow palettes. This one is in That's a Dub, and this one is such a stunning, like all over the lid shade, and I'm just so impressed with these palettes from Revlon. And then I have another one of those palettes, and this one is in the shade Slight Flex, and this shade right here is so unique. It is such a unique shimmer shade. Really, really love these from Revlon. I have 2 Tom Ford quads. So the first quad that I have is in Nude Dip, and this one I got at a cosmetic company outlet store, so I was able to get this for like 60% off. Really glad that I was able to do that because I love this one. And then I have another quad, and this is in the shade Daydream. And this one, of course, is more purple toned. Really enjoy this one as well, and was able to get it again for that 60% off. So I really enjoy those quads. I love them even more for 60% off. So I'm just glad that I was able to kind of play around with that formula and get to know more luxury eyeshadows. So if you have a cosmetic company outlet near you, I highly recommend that you check those out. All right, so now we're gonna get into my Natasha Denona mini eyeshadow palettes. So firstly, I do have my beloved mini retro palette from Natasha Denona. Really love this one. Such a beautiful, beautiful, unique color story. If you pick any of the minis up from her, I recommend that you pick up this one. Then I have the Mini Glam, which kind of looks nothing like the midi size Glam, but it's still a nice one. It's not my favorite mini, but it does perform very, very well. And then I have the Natasha Denona Mini Love Palette. And this one, again, kind of similar to the retro. It has such a great color story. There's a lot of versatility in this palette. Even though it does only have 5 shades, I think she did that one really well. And then, of course, I have the Natasha Denona Mini Nude Palette. And this one is just perfect for every day. If you're wanting just to kind of sample the formula, get a taste of it, this is a great one to try out because of how neutral it is. So those are all of the minis that I have from her, and I would love to get more in the future, so we shall see. But those are all of like my mini palettes. All right, so now I'm gonna go through my lip liners pretty quickly with you guys. Surprisingly, I'm not a lip liner person, but I have a ton here, so I guess I'm just so obsessed with makeup, right? Okay, so firstly, I do have NYX's Nude Truffle. Here's what this one looks like. It's just a really nice, kind of deeper toned nude. Then I have ColourPop Cool BFF. This is definitely a more cool toned nude lip liner. And the lip liners from ColourPop are pretty nice. They get a little bit loose in the like in the pencil, but they work really well. And then I have the Bare Minerals Gen Nude lip liner in the shade Borderline, which is another just kind of rosy nude color. I have a lot of nudes. And then I have a ColourPop lip liner in the shade Ilari, I think. And this one is really nice for my more like bolder lip looks, because it's like a berry toned lip liner. Really glad to have that because you definitely need those sometimes. And then I have the Charlotte Tilbury Lip Cheat Lip Liner in Iconic Nude. Really, really enjoy this one. And Charlotte Tilbury's lip liners are some of my favorites. I really enjoy hers. And then I have the Milani Understatement Lip Liner in Cafe au Lait. And this is just more of like, again, a more like nude toned option. Kind of warm toned, but more neutral. And these are pretty nice as well. Then again from NYX, I have Whipped Caviar, which kind of looks more of like a pinky toned nude, but I do enjoy this one. And then from Essence, I have one of their long-lasting lip liners in Lovely Frappuccino. And this one looks like it's more of like a warm-toned kind of peachy nude. I don't know if this one is still available. I love the name, Lovely Frappuccino. Then I have Pillow Talk Medium from Charlotte Tilbury, and this is again one of the favorites. I love this one so much. It's really, really pretty. It's a little bit more like a deeper pinky nude, and that's Pillow Talk Medium. And then I have ColourPop BFF, and here is what this one looks like. This is definitely more of a mid-tone nude. That one is really, really good. I use that one quite a bit. And then I have the e.l.f. and, man, this was a while back. This is the e.l.f. Annabella Noir collection, and this is just the lip liner that went with the liquid lipstick. I honestly might declutter this one because I decluttered the liquid lipstick, so I'll see. But that one is one lipstick or liquid liner that I have. Liquid liner, lip liner. And then I have from LA Girl, this is the lip liner in the shade Bare. Here is what this one looks like. Looks really pretty. It's more bare. It's more of like a nude lip liner. And then I have another ColourPop lip liner, and this is in Frenchie, which is a nice kind of like bright red lip liner. So that definitely helps with prepping the lips for a bright red lipstick. And then Jordana, RIP Jordana. This is the Easy Liner in the shade Plush Plum. You cannot even buy from this brand anymore, but here is what this one looks like. So more of like a deeper ruby kind of color. And then I have from Thrive Cosmetics, I got this in an Ipsy bag. This is one of their lip liners in the shade Gislon, I think. And this is kind of more like mauvey toned, I guess. So here's that one.